Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Sun, Sextile, or Trine, one's natal Jupiter. Now, when we're as far as this transit goes, there may be about creativity, life, action, drive, focus, and energy. Well, for one thing, it could be in harmony with you expanding horizons. It could be a very good time as far as your energy level goes to go outside the box at this time for expanding horizons, for abstract thinking. It can also be a time where you have, it's a good combination of having the drive and the energy and having optimism. This could be bringing more optimism in the life at this point in time. It can also be a time where you can create things with a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm. If you have the transit Sun, as an Aquarius as an example, it could be creating something, computer graphic art design. If the transit Sun, say, is in Libra or Taurus as another example, it could be something of an artistic nature that you may be creating, and you have the ability, have the optimism as well, the exuberance and enthusiasm to do so. Now, this transit only, lasts about 5 days, but it's still it could be a very positive transit. At this time, it could be a time where you could put very strong attention and focus on even doing something that could be prosperous for yourself, that could bring you prosperity at this point in time. Now, it could also be a time too when you have this transit. It's important, keep in mind you have Sun is about our action, and it could be about taking action as far in doing so on something with a lot of positive energy, with a real expansive optimism at this time. Now, anatomically speaking, okay, Jupiter is connected with the hips, of the sciatic nerve, the liver, the pancreas, and even obesity. So this is a time, because you're talking about an auspicious and positive aspect that's favorable. If you have any of the things I described that are anatomically connected with Jupiter, well, it's more of an opportunity, I would say, to have that focus at the time and put your attention on those matters, and not have any real diversions or distractions, or little diversions and distractions at this time, to work on, to take care of these issues at this point in time. And it might be, a time for you, when you have this transit. It is something, where again you can focus on these health, if there's any health related issues connected with this at this point in time. If there's obesity, there may be a time where you could work out vigorously and not be deterred from doing so. If something is such where you need to go for a checkup on these other matters, if there's something in the liver, the pancreas, or the sciatic nerve or hips that's bothering, this is a time where you likely can get taken care of with little delays at this time, and it'll be easier to do so, more so in a transit like this than others, and compared to most others. Now, another thing too is that Jupiter is connected with luck and fortune. And the thing about this is, you might feel at this time, where your luck can be on your side, during your life for whatever reason, whether it could be simply, if Taurus is involved, it might just be, something where you just happen to walk into, you find a $10 bill, laying on, the ground somewhere, or a sidewalk, or it could be something very simple like that at this time. And it could also be a time for putting the energy, into, something with sports, or having the vitality and energy for sports and the outdoors, religious activities even, or publishing and advertising at this time as well. And the thing is, also too, when you have in this trans, Jupiter again, is connected with prosperity. So it can be a time where you have, the drive, the motivation. If you're trying to do something that you feel is attainable, that can result in prosperity. This is the time where you have a better opportunity, perhaps than most, to take action on this and have the drive, have the focus at this time to do this. The sun is also connected with the biological father and children, so these people may be more favor of what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do something to create greater prosperity, to have more money at this time, this is the time where it's more of a better chance where you have those people in favor of this time, and you might even get assistance from them at this point in time in doing so. Now, Jupiter is also about the truth and the law, so it can be a time if you're trying to find out something with with the biological father or child, and you feel if there's been something that's been deceptive or duplicitous in connection with these people, this is a time where you're more apt to be able to uncover the truth in doing so, and more of focus and having the attention on finding out the truth at this time. If you have say if your natal Jupiter is in Scorpio and you're the 8th house, it could be, the truth may be over a matter pertaining to a will, or it could be a death. Maybe there's something over an inheritance or an insurance or tax related matter you're trying to find the truth out about. And because Jupiter is voracious, it's about truth, and this is the time where you have a better opportunity to find out that truth, because there's greater focus. There could be greater focus and attention in doing so at this time. And being the fact that Jupiter is the law, this is a time where you're trying to figure to take action at this time. If there's something that may have been unlawful that was done to you, this is the time where you may be able to have better results in terms of taking action on a matter that is associated with the law. It could be something unlawful that you dealt with, and this might be the better opportunity than most instances in order to get better results at this time, because it's a time where the sun, being about action, forms a good relationship with Jupiter, and that is connected with the law. Anyway, now the thing too is Jupiter is also connected with recklessness. So this is a time where because that's a negative part of Jupiter. The fact that you're having a positive aspect being made from the sun to the natal Jupiter, this is a better chance, I'd say, to control that, or if there's anything that's reckless that's connected with you, or something associated with being extravagant, this is a time where you could hone in on that and be able to put that under control and be able to deal with that better this time, more so than usual. So, and another thing too is that Jupiter is associated with traveling abroad, so in foreign travel. So it's more of a time to have the drive and the focus to be able to do this at this point in time, to have be more, we could say, taking action in those matters as well. I mean, if natal Jupiter stays in Pisces, it could be a long distance sea voyage. Jupiter, if the natal Jupiter is in Aquarius, it might be going to an unusual place. If natal Jupiter is in Scorpio, it could be a long distance trip that you may be very secretive about. It might be very mysterious trip. So anyway, now if natal Jupiter, Jupiter is connected with philosophy as well. So it's also a time where you could put more focus and attention on your philosophy at this time, on your beliefs, and that the biological father and children, if applicable, can be more in favor of this at this point in time. The natal Jupiter is in Aquarius. It might be an unorthodox belief, or a belief connected with astrology, as an example. And also too, Jupiter is connected with religion. So this is the time when, again, going back to the biological father and children, if applicable, could be more in favor of your religious beliefs at this time, more so than usual, and you may be able to put you'd be more motivated and driven toward religious activities if you're part of a religious congregation, as an example. Now, anyway, another way this transit may manifest, it could be the time the biological father and children, again, which is connected with the sun, can be in agreement with your philosophies and beliefs. Hold on a moment, people. Now let's say if natal Jupiter is in Aquarius, it could be an astrological or an orthodox belief. Also too, it's a time where you could have the right amount of energy, which is the sun, for sports, which is Jupiter, sports activities. Now, let's say, for example, if the natal Jupiter is in Gemini, it could be sports that require quick reactions, such as like ping pong or badminton, and another thing too, this could also be very auspicious for taking action, which is the sun, in something to be published, which is Jupiter. Let's say, for example, if the natal Jupiter is in Scorpio, it could be something with psychology or the occult or forensics, as an example. And you also may easily be able to focus, which is the sun, on long distance travel plans, which is Jupiter. Now, if the natal Jupiter is in Aries, it could be one that is very impulsive and adventurous. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.